Hi, everybody. It's your friend Daniel Hutchins, and today we'll be talking about a lot of new different things. Of course, some of things we're revisiting subject wise, though, but that's okay because there's always hot new stuff in comic book universe. Okay, so first off, we're starting things up with the DC's Blue Beetle project. Yes, the Blue Beetle project by DC. It was supposed to have some news and it's going to make fans very happy. And it's supposed to arrive in 2023. Okay, so we know it's happening. We just know that it's in development right now with some people and some workers on HBO Max as a number of Warner Brothers projects that are coming today. Again, started development on this back in 2018. This anticipation for his hero has had some disappointment due to the fact it would see a Latino hero at the center of a blockbuster from big screens. Noted though, well, now that disappointment can completely evaporate as Warner Brothers has announced not only the Blue Beetle has a release date, it's also confirmed to have a theatrical distribution. So again, Hollywood Reporter has this news on development, revealing the Blue Beetle is now set for August 13th of 2023. So given that's going to come out in the summer or the dog days of summer of 2023, the movie is being directed by Angel Manuel Soto, and also there's an actor who is best known for his role from the Netflix series Cobra Kai. He's attached to play the main hero. Okay, so Blue Beetle has been slowly coming around over this last 6 months, with the actor having been cast all the way back from August. So the last we've heard anything about him and significant about how this project was during October's online DC fandom event. Now, if you attended that online fandom event, also let me know in the comments. I want to know your thoughts and ideas from that. So, at which time the world will get to see a badass concept of what featured on the top of this article. Now, you have to go to Cinema Blend to see this article. I'm just saying. So, after this video, if you want to see more Blue Beetle news, go to Cinema Blend. Check it out and read it yourself. But I'm reading it for you to save time. So, it's not clear what happened behind the scenes, though, but a production's been seen to go from being streaming movies to a big screen release. Fans can celebrate with the news regardless. Now, as of right now, there are still other ideas on HBO Max exclusives, including Batgirl and also a Birds of Prey spinoff with Black Canary. Again, however, joined rosters of upcoming DC movies are also including Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is coming out next year. Also, you have Black Adam, what's coming next year. Shazam Fury of the Gods, which is not till another 2 years, actually, because of setbacks. And you got The Flash and you have The Batman coming out next year. So, given its August 2023 release date, Blue Beetle will likely go production next 6 months again, which means we should be hearing a lot more about him very soon. And starts to build out as filmmakers, teams, and cast, as through the process it is an interesting to learn how other DC characters are included on his story. Now stay tuned for more for Cinema Blend and latest projects later. You can also go to the 2022 movie calendar. Again, you can follow that because, like I said, if you want to know all the action and superhero and comic book universe type projects and movies, you have to fill in your head with all the different things that are happening and going on amongst the universe. Okay, so we are going to keep going because, all right, so we are going. So now we're going to be revisiting our old friend Kevin Smith. Yes, old friend Kevin Smith. Our old friend Kevin Smith and our other old friend, the Russo brothers, have teamed up for a new DC and Marvel TV show. Okay, so comic fans don't want to miss this one because it has Kevin Smith and the Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony. Again, there are a number of people who served as advocates for the superhero and comic book community, and Kevin Smith is certainly among them. Now, for years, the filmmakers geeked out over happenings in the comic book space, and his enthusiasm is always palpable. Now, as a result, he's been involved in a number of projects in medium and genres. He's also scored another sweet gig. He's teaming up with the directors Joe and Anthony Russo for a new short focusing on Marvel and DC Comics. Now, we also know him as famous for The Comic Book Men. The Comic Book Men creator and the Avengers directors are taking their talent to the Roku channel for Slugfest. The 10-part documentary series is set to explore lengthy history between DC and Marvel, including the rivalry between them. Now, given according to streamers, each installment will dive into specific aspects of storied companies. The Cherry directors are also serving as executive producers on the project, while the Clerks 3 Helmer is set to narrate. Now, all in all, this sounds like a must-see for any superhero fan. Now, Russo brothers and Kevin Smith are definitely on board to make a match for any nerd and nerd heaven. Now, each of these resumes speak for themselves. As lifelong comic book fans, they're perfectly equipped to help their lengthy, complex stories. Now, the two siblings released joint statements amongst this news. It sounds like they're pretty excited to provide fans with some keen insights into their topics. Now, in their quotes, they say, audiences will leave Slugfest with a whole new understanding of how the rivalry between two creative powerhouses shaped the iconic storylines and characters that fans around the world know and have come to know and love. We're thrilled to partner with the Roku channel to unpack a fascinating but untold history behind the most well known competitions in comics. Their relationship between the comic book companies has evolved in some interesting ways. While they don't seem to be fierce competitors today, that was their time then too would engage in a few back and forths back in the day. Now, at one point, each would seemingly reference the other's work by creating characters that were similar to those of another company. Now, their styles arguably also bled into each other due to the fact that notable writers like Jack the King Kirby, John Romita Sr., Kelly Sue DeCornick, and Brian Michael Mendez has worked for both of them over the years. Now, there have, however, been collaborations between the two, as evidenced by occasional crossover books from set days, and of course, they've been written here and there. Now, here and there basically means like once in a good while, sometimes a crossover would come up and it would pass. But then again, like I said, so today, of course, many believe the rivalry has transferred to companies' movie-making ventures. Now, though there certainly seems to be divides amongst them, bigwigs of respective entertainment entities have shot down those claims. Now, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige downplayed any kind of animosity, saying that the fiery relationship is more so amongst the press. Meanwhile, Peter Safran, who produced films like Aquaman and Shazam under Warner Brothers, called this notion of conflict bullshit, just like Feige, who believes the creators behind these films are fans of every piece of superhero cinema to this day. So we hope the cinematic aspects of all this are indeed examined, and with the Russo brothers involved in this project, there is a good chance they ensured that this would be a case. It'll also be fun to see what's revealed in this new document series and to hear Kevin Smith's enthusiastic but cerebral voice throughout the show. Slugfest is supposed to premiere on the Roku channel on December the 24th. Now, I'm going to be doing something special on the 24th. I'm actually going to be going to see my friends for the holidays now. So, again, that should be pretty cool. Maybe I'll ask my friend about it and tell him about it, and maybe we can see if we could find it because he has a Roku TV and we can watch it from that there. So again, I think it would be cool. So now we go superheroes again. We're gonna do one more article from Cinema Blend, and then we're gonna be going to CBR. Okay, one more article from Cinema Blend, and then we're gonna go to CBR. Okay, we want to go into the okay. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home again because it's really important. So there's a lot riding. There's a lot of riding on Spider-Man No Way Home this weekend, but early open and weekend box numbers look very good. No Way Home is poised to rake in big bucks. Again, we already kind of knew that already. But movie theaters have been bending over backwards to convince viewers to return to in person cinemas. Now, despite huge ad campaigns of high profile blockbusters like The West Side Story and House of Gucci, ticket sales haven't skyrocketed the way movie theaters hoped they would after being allowed to reopen. Now, however, the latest Marvel entry, we know Spider Man No Way Home, could be set to revitalize the movie going industry. Now, production companies Sony and Marvel Studios have been crossing their fingers in hope that Spider Man No Way Home convinces audiences to make the trek to the local theater. With many films experimenting with hybrid releases in theaters and on streaming services, overall profit margins have been less than impressive. Luckily, the Spider Man sequel is set to make a killing in the box office at least. Now, if the industry projections are anything to go by, of course, deadlines have reported that Spider Man No Way Home is on track to make about $290 million on its opening weekend. Now, that's pretty good because the number in the global gross, as opposed to domestic figures in US and Canada markets, Sony is projecting an opening weekend gross of at least 130 million. Also pretty good. Again, although other tracking services estimated that number to exceed 175 or even $200 million. Also really good. So Deadline has proposed this discrepancy is due to the fact that the Spider-Man No Way Home is the largest film release in recent post-pandemic history. It's also going to join the ranks of previous holiday blockbusters, just like that of Star Wars The Last Jedi, which made roughly around 220 million, and Star Wars Rogue One, again, which raked about 155 million. That's not bad at all. Again, the stratospheric projections for Spider-Man No Way Home can also be attributed to a high amount of pre-sales tickets. Now, people who do pre-sale tickets are obviously really hardcore. But again, people who buy tickets at the theater, they're good too. So, according to Deadline, advanced ticket sales for the film have outpaced any of the likes of no, other Spider-Man movies and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and they are really close behind pre-sales for Avengers Endgame, which has currently held the records for the largest domestic opening figures from any film ever, with a whopping $357 million. Now, that's a lot of money, guys. That's a lot of money. So, it's also worth mentioning that the estimated 290 million profits for No Way Home are on the side of caution. Now, the number is shaping up to be a global minimum. Again, global minimum. But depending on the whims of moviegoers worldwide, this amount could be boosted to a $380 million. Now, making No Way Home the largest post-pandemic film and also dethrone the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3, as I already said, as Sony's biggest opening weekend. Now, Far From Home, the previous installment, again from the last Spider-Man movie of the Spider-Man trilogy, became Sony's highest grossing film of all time. But given the note that the future of Spider-Man No Way Home could definitely factor in and overthrow that one in favor, depending on how many people and money go to see the new one. Now, the film's slated for American theatrical release on the 17th, which is today, so go out and see it. While Marvel fans in UK have already waited until the 16th, and Tom Holland and Zendaya are going to reprise the roles as Peter Parker and MJ, respectively. And the film's also going to feature Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx, and Benedict Cumberbatch, all which are tied in with the movie, guys. Again, real good people tied in with the movie. Again, so let me know your thoughts about that because I really want to know what you think about what you think the box office number predictions are for the new Spider-Man movie. Again, it's noted that if you guys communicate more across the platform on my YouTube channel, it'll probably help boost the morale. And to boost morale, it's going to make things a lot more easier for whenever things come next year. But okay, so we want to go to CBR, Comic Book Resources. Okay, Comic Book Resources, the top destination for comics, movies, and TV shows. Now we want to go over the comics. We'll go to comic news. Hopefully you can see some comic book stuff. Because, okay, so now we're going to be talking about a Flash. Not actually the Flash, but the Flash villains. Okay, you want to know more about the Flash villains. Okay, the Flash villains are again in their own DC Black Label series. Now, Black Label means it's like really, really special type series. Now, Flash villains are getting their own series. So, Joshua Williamson and Leomac present the Rogues, which also is a short name for villains. Now, the fourth issue prestige series from DC Black Label is going to focus on the villain we know, Captain Cold. Captain Cold and Company. Now, again, 11 hours ago, guys. So Flash's most infamous villains are reuniting for a most ambitious heist. Now, DC Comics has announced Rogues as a fourth-issue prestige format miniseries published under Black Label imprints. Now, due to release in March, guys, it's going to come out in March. The titled team's longtime Flash writer Joshua Williamson, with a basket full of heads artist Leomax, for the Rogues' final desperate attempt to hit big time. Now, the latest article, the Teen Titans recruit Wally West and his children to the team. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about someone else. So there's some really interesting illustrations down below. Again, there's a picture I see right here of Captain Cold and his friends, and they're like at a giant booth at like a bar. So I'm gonna save that because I'm gonna be sharing that to some of my friends on Facebook media. Okay, so we want to keep going. All right. Now, whenever I see a cool picture I like to save, I save it. So it has been a decade since the Rogues have last stood together. Now, the years have not been kind to their team. Now, time has ravaged their bodies. The frequent failures at the hands of the Flash have trapped these rogues in an endless cycle of prison, rehab, and financial hardships. So when Captain Cold calls with a plan to secure a stockpile of untraceable gold, the rogues decide that it's time to put aside their difference, and the only catch is in order to attain their score, the rogues will have to make their way into Gorilla City and get past Gorilla Grodd, who controls the largest crime syndicate on the planet. Now, debut issues of the series features a main cover by artist Sam Wolf with other variants as well. Now, Williamson, the artist, has recently continued his Barry Allen epic on Infinite Frontier, which also says the Rogues is unlike anything's ever written for DC. Now, it's noted that it's closer to my own creator-owned works and crime books full of super science, dark humor, lost civilizations, and crazy action set piece. Again, it's all played straight, guys. So, dark edge of morality plagued qualities of classic noir stories Rogues will take everything we love about classic characters and send them on a violent crashing path into the Norse stories that makes the ideal DC Black Label series. Writers also praised the works of Leomax, saying, "When we saw his first pages in issue number 1, they completely exceeded my expectations. Now, working with them brings an incredible amount of thoughtfulness with insight in the world of the Rogues." Later this article, The Flash just assembled a Dark Justice League and who's on it and why. We're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So, though the Rogue's central premise sees Captain Cold and his friends entering their twilight years, Black Label editor Chris Conroy, another famous man, has says that the series won't be taking it easy on the aging villains. Unlike Catwoman in her Lonely City arc, again, Conroy calls a love letter to Gotham City, and Conroy even said the Rogues will give Flash foes some tough love. Now, with the editorial team seeing this pitch, we feel like it's a slam dunk. Now, again, Josh understands the world of the Flash inside and out. He's one of the only real hardcore artists we know in recent day that knows the Flash so well. Again, he's no one has ever written a more terrifying Gorilla Grodd story. Again, in addition to Rogues, Williamson's currently also working on DC's monthly Batman and Robin and Deathstroke Incorporated titles. Now, those are really hot topic characters as well in universe canon. But these books are heading for a collision course in March, and they enter the crossover Shadow War, which is another look in character rise. And stories also see Deathstroke commit an unthinkable act that provokes Talia al Ghul, the Center League of Shadows, against them. And as Batman and Robin intervene in the struggle, the ensuing conflict will reveal whether or not Deathstroke will remain villains and face his final justice. Written by the legend himself, Joshua Williamson, and illustrated by his friend Leomax, Rogues number 1 goes on sale on March 22nd, 2022 from DC Comics. Okay, guys, so there's a lot riding on right now as far as with books coming out next year. So I know I already mentioned there are some key titles I've said from live streams prior that said, like, okay, there's going to be books by Marvel in February. There's going to be Marvel books in March. There's going to be ones all over. And then DC books, same wise thing. It's like DC books in February, DC books in March, you know? So it's kind of like it's a key thing, though. So again, after all, that's how you have to make you have to make money to make money. You have to make money to make money. You have to spend money to make money. That's right. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so you have to spend money to make money. And then when you spend money to make money, you boost morale. And again, comic books are so successful that there's a lot of things riding into next year. Again, noted, I really want to hope to entertain you guys throughout throughout the next several years. Again, I said before, please make sure you leave comments. Please make sure you leave comments. I like to make sure you guys are following my information, going along with everything from hence I'm saying. And again, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your morning. There's only like a few hours left in the morning. So again, enjoy it. Enjoy the rest of your Friday morning, and I'll catch you guys in a little while. Bye.